Hi, Gene.
Hello, Kirsten.
Okay, so we're ready to start. This is our last interview in 2019, and a lot of things are happening. Basically, I would think that there's something going on because the Decode supposed to, which is the map of what's going on, supposed to be coming out on the 9th. I think maybe the Patriots are going to release it a little bit before. I heard it was today, the 3rd, but I don't know for sure. But it's interesting that on the 10th, YouTube is deciding to have an apocalypse of all the conservatives. So are they going to shut everything down? What's going on, Gene, do you think?
Well, the first, like most people know, the D class is getting ready for the 9th. At least that's the current information. And then also the FBI gave 30,000 more emails of Hillary's to the IG, Durham. And so there was another growth in the sealed cases by over 10,000 on the Q map.
Okay.
And the intel I'm getting is that in those emails and the resulting indictments are because it goes into Hillary, Obama, Strzok, Comey, McCabe, Clapper, Pelosi, Schiff, Nadler, both the Bidens, Hunter and Joe. Who did I miss? There's so many.
Lisa Page?
Oh, yeah, no, she's already done. So it goes into all of them are going to be indicted, and it looks also like with the D class, it's looking like they're thinking of doing the mass arrest, and the deep state is going to try to stop it by pulling out all of the bots at once and doing everything at once to try to stop them. Because in addition, I'm seeing, and it's also coded in the Q map, and a lot of the Anons have already reported on this, that already South Carolina, Wyoming, New Mexico, and Utah are on a gold standard printing gold coin. And 4 countries are doing the same. And also...
Do you have the 4 countries?
I don't know the 4 countries, no, sorry.
Okay.
Giuliani actually has gone to Croatia, Serbia, Latvia, Estonia, Italy, Israel, Ukraine, and Romania, and 2 more countries I can't remember off the top of my head, and got documents from them that is also part of the indictments for documentation on money laundering, human trafficking, child trafficking, drug dealing, and racketeering on all of those people.
Oh my gosh, it's coming down. And then we had Hunter Biden's so-called love child, and basically he didn't even hear his so-called lover and their child. What's her name? London Roberts.
Right.
Showed up. Why didn't his lawyer show up?
His lawyer has resigned.
Why?
Because he's under indictment.
Himself?
Yeah. So he has to lawyer up himself. So if you watched Space Shot, the last show he did with Juan Savin, as well as Linda Paris, and Savin is very knowledgeable. He's also stating a lot of the same things, that a lot of things are coming, as well as he referenced the stuff I had mentioned on Rick's show about the big, huge false flag that was due for November 3rd, in which they were going to take out Seattle. And there was another one, and they blocked that back in when Trump first got in. And they've also, since that time, taken out 6 million bots. So the deep states, a lot of their bot supply, they're not aware of who they have or who they don't. And from what I got, that's 67%. So instead of having a bot per block in every city in the country, they have about 1 per 3 blocks. So I would highly recommend that everybody is ready and has all the supplies you need to survive for a couple of weeks or a month, and have your cars filled up and have food and water and way to go to the bathroom and keep warm, and medical supplies and food for you and your animals, so that you're ready if, really horrendous things start happening and they have to put in martial law. And they're already in continuity of government. I've been I haven't verified this, but I've heard from various places we're in DEFCON 1, as well as Russia.
Okay, so we have, when you say bots, you mean humans, correct?
I mean, Mark Ultra types that they call bots now. Back when I first started going into this in the 90s and learned about it, under Mark Ultra program, most people call it MK Ultra. The MK just stands for Mark, which is like Mod 1, Module 2. It's just, a term. So
they're human. They're humans that are brainwashed. Yeah,
they're humans that are usually taken into the cages and things and sold by their family, usually or bred from the bloodlines, and then they're tortured, like in China Lake, in the huge, massive cages and so they're fractured, and then they bring in satanic beings to, when they see the altars and where the altar personalities in their brain, they chip them so they can trigger that area of the brain when they want, and they bring through satanic rituals a demonic being into that part of the personality to control it when that personality is activated, and then it's programmed and hypnotized in what to do when it's activated.
Okay, I have something to say about John 07 means 007. How arrogant are you to take that name? I was supposed to do an interview with him, but he was so arrogant, and he's wealthy. He lives on his boat off of Washington State on the Putrid Sound. So I do know a lot about John 007, which is his code name, 107. So he can keep his arrogant information to himself. I like you because you're humble and you're Christian. Thank you.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm just saying that all of the information he said on Space Shot backs up everything I already know.
Okay, so I want to know about the 3 attempts on our POTUS this week.
So there were 2 planes that were coming into the Washington, D.C. White House airspace that were turned away by...
More planes?
2.
Yeah, okay.
And then, of course, about all the salt in the White House. You actually had that on your show.
Yeah, okay. All the salt. And they've cleaned out all the salt, basically.
Right. And then also when Trump left to fly to Europe, where he is now, another plane tried to crash into Air Force One.
Oh, my God.
So,
are there any attempts planned when he's in Europe, probably?
Yeah, there's code coming out of Belgium that there's going to be another attempt.
Okay. Is he going to be okay?
Yeah, he's under massive protection, and like the Q says, with the NSA and the hammer, they have it all. And so, they've blocked all these dead man switches and taken out 67% of the bots and stopped these big false flags and all of this stuff. And, I know of, what's my count right now? 40 attempts that they've stopped on Trump. Somebody said 51 before the last 8 that I know, new ones I know. So I was at 29 and they said 51. So if they're right, it's 59. I haven't verified that, but that's what they said.
Okay, so I want to go through the Q post, which you have basically, and go through the treason the media has committed. We know all about Lisa Page and her numerous affairs with Comey, McCabe, Strzok, a little video. But I'd like you to go through the Q post and kind of go through each post and kind of like explain. You're better than
okay, so the first post after the 25th of November, starting today, on the 2nd of December at 9:34 a.m. this morning, post 3637, Q starts up DCOMS board, and it's talking about 18 USC Code Chapter 115, which is the code for treason, sedition, and subversive activities. And that post is then expounded greater in the next post, which is 3638 today at 10:15, and it goes into depth and it talks. And it reads, and I'll just summarize it, it's going into all the different aspects of treason and sedition and that anybody who engages in that and what the penalties are. And it's essentially saying that anything you write, say, that you know is going to be written like testimony or reading like Schiff did, where he's reading a made-up letter that's undermining the United States, the Constitution, or our government. Of course, the president's part of the government. Then, and he knows that when you read in Congress, it's always put in the congressional ledger, so you know it's going to be written. So you're actually guilty of sedition and treason, and the protection by the laws that say that anything in Congress is, that you can't be held liable. Well, that's not liable, that's sedition. There's a huge difference. And then next one, we have a bunch of things on trip codes, which is 3639. It's talking about trip configuration on 8kun, and it's just, trip config, and it just has Q, and that's essentially, they're just checking trip codes. And then on 3640 at 10:58 today, 1 minute post delta, Q post, and POTUS tweet. And so that's another Q proof, and they have the link on there that goes to the tweet by POTUS that reads, the Republican Party has never been so united. The impeachment scam is just a continuation of the 3-year witch hunt, but is only bringing us ever closer together. And then the post, and that tweet was done at 10:58 or 10:56, and then the post by Q was done at 10:58, so that's a 2-minute delta, so it's very close together. And then Q 3641 post at 11:07 is trip codes confirmed, and it's going into more on trip codes, and that only Q will have trip code until they get the board and who's who, sorted out, and then they'll give trip codes as per the sort out. And then 3642 post at 11:31 this morning has the watch again with the pin, and the watch is sitting at what looks like 129, and the second hand's at the 2 mark. The hour hand, and the minute hand's reading 129. And so it's, obviously decode information for people who decode well. I'm thinking 1 and 2 being December, and the minute hand being the 29th, December 29th is something big. And then the angle of the pin looks like it's at about 11:28 or something. So November 28th, or just something like that. I'm just kind of guessing on the decode there. There's people that do that way better than I do. Then post 3643, Q repost justice marker from 2 years ago, justice marker, justice. And in other words, future proofs past, justice is coming. Talking about the FISA D-class 2 years ago for December 9th, future proofs past, and that's when they're doing the D-class, and they said that back then, and that's linking back to that justice marker. And then 3644 post, world's biggest media companies continue to attack QAnon, and there's Alphabet, Google, and
YouTube.
That has Sergey Brin.
Yes.
And then they have Married to Annie, however you pronounce that. And it's interesting, below that is a little red stick with what looks like tongue depressors in red and green, and they're exactly at the same position. It says 23andMe, and which is her co-founder, I guess her tweet name or something. And the little tongue depressors are exactly the same position as we see on the watch on Q-board.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then it's also her sister, Susan Wojcicki.
Wojcicki is in there as well, yes.
Yeah, and she's so stupid. She went on 60 Minutes and was trying to make like Joe M was a conspiracy theory, wanted to save the world. They made it so big that everyone was so curious what the hell that was. That was a screw up on their part, right?
Yeah, so they have the link on that on Q below there on that Q 60 Minutes show about QAnon.
Uh-huh.
It really proves that QAnon is what it is. And said, what is the Great Awakening and all of this? And then they have a little 26-second video that was put on by Methods in which an excerpt from there where they're saying they're going to change how YouTube and everything searches so that 80%, it will reduce by 80% the false research into things that they don't want people to know, essentially, in other words. And that's actually very close to what Merkel said just a couple of days ago, where she said, if you state things that are against the state, that you have responsibility for that.
You will not have speech.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much the same statement that the gal sang in that 26-second video that was not usurped, but excerpt out of the 60 Minutes show. And then Q said under that Twitter link, why are the largest media companies in the world constantly attacking this so-called conspiracy? And then there's another link below that, and that link goes to many, many, many posts from like Ilhan Omar and, all kinds of different people debunking Q, supposedly.
Why isn't she in jail? And why isn't Radisha Tlaib in jail? And why isn't AOC in jail for
maybe seeing massive arrests come very shortly? People have been impatient. I mean, I'm, as a martial artist, I'm in the manner, just like I told you about the guy that came up to me in the intermission in the opera and wanted to, it's like, you want to see abusive, I'll show you abusive. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, I'm good. I'm right here. Let's do something. Let's rumble. So that's how I feel. I'm with you. If the deep state wants to throw in all their assets at once, and I have already seen C5 Galaxies flying into Denver right 50 feet over my head with massive troop movements and all kinds of things going on. And I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's have them throw all their assets in and get rid of them all and put them in FEMA camps and Gitmo and Ice Base and take them to trial and hang them.
You said FEMA was already full though, right?
Not FEMA, Gitmo.
Gitmo was already full.
Yeah, the FEMA camps, there's so many. I mean, they have plenty of room.
All right.
To put 87% of Congress in there and all these other people too. And then below that post, it says, people awake are the equals greatest fear, information warfare. And then the next post I actually did click. If you click on the link, it's post 3645. It says security cam picture in London. File name reference to Lisa Page in MI6. And beneath the picture of the London Bridge and Big Ben is the PNG number, which is Lisa MI6. So in other words, Lisa Page is MI6.
Is she MI6, FBI, or CIA? Or are they all related?
All of the above.
She's all of the above. She's like a triple spy, like Dianne Feinstein, China, Mossad, and CIA, correct?
Yes.
So basically, she's because she's basically toast, because she had was working on a mission to assassinate Trump and his family with, I guess Italy was going to do it, correct?
Yes, and that's part of what Giuliani went to Italy for, to get that documentation.
So she's toast. So she's basically trying to get ahead of the news. And of course she's a slut because she slept with all three married guys. She couldn't find a single guy herself. And she doctored up the Flynn's 302s. And Kevin Kleinsmith doctored up Carter Page's 302. So two attorneys doctoring up 302s.
Exactly. So if you click on the title on the Q map of it'll take you to the 8-cone board. Yeah. And if you go to the when that takes you, it'll put in pink the reference on the 8-cone where that post came from, that Q took that post from, and you'll see all the various anons that are referencing that post. And so you'll see a whole bunch of numbers, which are the anons responding. And if you go to number 7614708, you'll see a picture and it says UK, United Kingdom Patriots, UK Patriots love POTUS, our American brothers and sisters. Where we go one, we go all. And it's a picture of Donald Trump, and behind him are doors that look like they're made out of solid gold. And he's standing next to another person. I don't know who it is, but it looks like that's talking about, it's code talk about going into the gold standard for the UK and the United States. So again, like we were saying.
Do you think that Boris Yeltsin's going to get elected? What's going on there?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then is there another post after that?
Yes. The last one is 3646, which states, logical thinking. Q will wait for the precise moment to release the FISA D-class. Anons, why would we provide the data of the FISA release? Logical thinking, ammunition is finite. So it's, I'm wondering if, again, they were trying to get the deep state to activate all their assets to use up ammunition, and they may not actually do the D-class on the 9th, or maybe they are. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Or maybe they'll do it before.
Yeah, I'm thinking that could be, because I'm seeing like that watch. You could also read that as like the 12th.
I heard it was today, but
or to the 2nd, or today, or I mean, there's a lot of ways to decode that watch. It's just, how do you decode it is the question. I'm not great on decoding watches and angles of pin and all. I'm good at decoding hand signals and code speak and all of that stuff.
Okay, so now we're done with the Q post. Let's go into we were talking about the war in the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases, and you said that the flooding of the bases to get where the Pacers and many were lowered the sea level by how many inches, you said?
Yeah, so what they did starting in, they had warned them that they had 4 years to get out of all that stuff, all those big DUMBs that are under all the oceans. And that includes ancient tunnel systems that go from continent to continent, which they have the maglev trains in, and they did not. And they said, we won't leave, but in a bag. In other words, a body bag. And so the head of the alliance, the Q Alliance, said, fine with me. I'd be glad to have you leave in a bag. So he blew the doors off all the DUMBs under the ocean and flooded them all. And that dropped the ocean level by 8 inches. And the initial plan was to flood them, on the continents too. But of course, now they can't go from continent to continent, and they have to ride in airplanes or whatever like us, or ships or whatever. But they realized and calculated the number of DUMBs and the volumes of them. That's why you see the hand-to-hand fighting, because if they were to flood all the DUMBs in the world, they figured out it would drop the ocean levels by 300 feet.
Oh my gosh. And now it's only dropped by a few inches, right?
Yeah, 8 inches, but 300 feet means every port in the world is useless. It also means you're dropping it below, like the Gulf Stream is running, the top of the Gulf Stream is 300 feet down. You're going to upset the world climate system.
Right.
It literally upset the Earth's turning and on, how the Earth moves and everything. So, I mean, it's going to upset so much that they just can't do that. That's why you have to do the hand-to-hand, and all the stuff they're doing has to be done that way.
Well, hand could be a fire of, what do you call a flamethrower, because it can't touch the Kuru people.
Well, to me, that's from my hand with a flamethrower in it to your hand that burst into fire.
All right. Okay, so do you know anything about what they're doing with the weather? It's freezing here in Florida, and it started at night. There looks like there's a huge snow everywhere. They're probably doing weather warfare, and really, it's like it's a huge snow avalanche through the United States.
Yeah, they're bringing the temperatures down to make it difficult for the cabal.
Who's doing it? The Patriots?
Yes.
And I thought it was the evil ones trying to kill more food for us in the Midwest and California.
No, it's actually to make things difficult for them to get around and do, because they don't have the way. You know, a lot of their transportation is done, and they're reduced to what we're reduced to, driving around, to flying around. And if you have 3 feet of snowfall, I mean, I've read this with the plants when I've been out, you know, hiking in the mountains of Colorado in September. Plants that I know, you know, bloom at the top when the weather's going to be rough this winter. We're blooming at the top in the beginning of September. That doesn't normally happen until mid-October. I'm like, wow, winter's coming big and hard this year and quick. And so in alignment, we've already had quite a few snowstorms here in Colorado that have had over 1 foot of snow in a day.
Well, I was thinking it was, you know, last year when they had the polar vortex, that was the deep state trying to just kill 1 million cows and a lot of people. So now it's the Patriots this time.
Yeah, now it's the Patriots to make it. I would not be surprised if, like here in Colorado, it's been about a decade, but normally that's the cycle anyway, where we see snowstorms in a 24-hour period that drop 3 feet of snow and lock a city down, so you can't fly in and out and you can't move.
And in California, they're expecting, like, it went, the 16-day weather went from like 12 to 36 to 72 to 118. It's like, it's going to cause a huge earthquake there. Is that what they're planning? An earthquake?
And actually, a lot of people that I know that are psychic are seeing that or having dreams of that, and have actually remote viewed that as a high possibility. And I know people that are moving out that live in San Francisco.
Right.
And that's because they're fighting under San Francisco right now and clearing out the Presidio. And when they get that done, they're going to blow that dome. And that's on the San Andreas Fault. That could cause a bit of an earthquake.
Oh my gosh, that's unreal. So the Patriots are doing California too, and Oregon and Washington, not the Black Hats.
Right, and Colorado, because they're clearing out a lot of dumps in Colorado, like DIA in Denver and Grand Mesa, and all of that is being cleared out as well.
CIA is like, their office on the West Coast is Denver Airport.
Yeah, it was, not anymore.
It's really bad. Okay,
Yeah.
So what else can we discuss while we're here? I gave you like a list, like my memory.
Yeah, I wanted to go into the last thing I talked a while back about the witches and the warlocks and the sorcerers, and I switched around because I get confused sometimes with, I'm not good with names. I'm fantastic with math and numbers and pattern recognition and all that.
Right.
Like I did on Rick's show, I said Roseanne Barr instead of Rose Gale.
I don't think you said her name on my show.
But on your show, I said Alaweed and Solomon. I said that Solomon was the sorcerer, and it was Alaweed.
Solomon's King Solomon now. That's the one that Alaweed #Dopey tried to assassinate in Vegas.
Yes, and that's exactly correct. So Solomon is actually a good guy.
Yeah.
White hat. He destroyed one side of the pyramid. For the largest human trafficking and child trafficking was in Saudi Arabia. When they took that out, they rescued like 600,000 children, and they took out billions and billions and billions of dollars in gold bullion back into the U.S. that had come out of Fort Knox originally.
And on Alaweed, I know is a total criminal. That's the one where the shooters were on the top 2 floors of the Mandalay Bay, which is owned by Alaweed and...
I don't know who's owned. I know Alaweed owns it.
Bill Gates. Bill Gates.
Oh yeah, Bill Gates, one of the other sorcerers. Yep.
Correct. And so now I heard Alaweed's living in New York, but they took most of his funds, so he's incapacitated. But he does own a lot of Goldman Sachs and a lot of most of Twitter.
Yes.
And what's his name? Jack Dorsey is off to Africa for an indefinite period. What's going on there?
Yeah, the rats are fleeing the sinking ship. That's what you see in Hong Kong. That's another thing we can talk about. In Hong Kong, just outside in the next province over, the Chinese government has stationed 50,000 troops and tanks and all that.
Wow.
And so the Hong Kong, because they can't lose the Hong Kong banking system and all of their spy network in there, because that's where they launder all their money through. it'll collapse their economy.
Right.
And so the Hong Kong asked Trump to help. And so he sent a huge U.S. convoy of Navy ships to go in there to support Hong Kong and stop that. And with all of the type of very advanced weapons, like, at every rally he says we have nuclear weapons and things much more advanced than that. And hopefully we never have to use it. And those weapons are like stealth fighters and stealth craft that can take out those 50,000 troops in 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to say something to the people of Hong Kong in Cantonese and in Mandarin. 你哋廣東人好好㗎，多謝你哋錫我哋嘅 POTUS, okay? And I'll say it in Mandarin. 你們很好的人，你們愛我們的 POTUS Donald J. Trump. I just said in Mandarin and Cantonese that people, you love our POTUS Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, and there actually was videos coming out that I saw in Hong Kong where they're having American flags and waving them and singing the national anthem and doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
And they have masks with Donald Trump's face on it.
Yeah. And what people don't realize is that the whole eyes of the world are watching the United States, because if the cabal wins, whatever happens, whether the cabal wins or the cabal loses, it happens here first. Whatever happens here will be the fate of the rest of the world will happen. So if the cabal gets wiped out of this country and the swamp is completely taken out, that means it's going to happen to the rest of the countries of the world in very short order.
That's why they're taking down all the conservative channels from YouTube, because they don't want the truth to get out.
Yeah, and of course, just coincidentally, Q says declass that day, and a lot of the coding by the deep state is saying we're going to do stuff that day. And of course, YouTube is, pretty much destroying their platform, because if we don't have Anons and we don't have any of the YouTubes that I care to watch on there, I don't care to go watch CNN. I can go to the airport and watch it for free and listen to people lie to me anytime I want. I don't need to, go on my computer and see it.
That's the reason why I'm prodding everyone, and I'm putting this video on BitChute only, and on YouTube. Sorry that her over there. It's not going to be on YouTube. I'm sorry, but I cannot support that platform anymore. They've done too much abuse to me. They freeze my numbers. They delete a lot of subscribers. They unmonetize my videos. They limit the monetization, and that's what they're going to say. You're not getting enough monetization, and they're the ones that are disallowing the monetization. And so, yeah, I'm going to this video, which is the last video of the year with Gene. We'll do others, but this will be only on BitChute. So if you can't get to BitChute and you can't figure it out, that you have to put, your username with no spaces and your password with a number, a symbol, and alphabets, then I'm really sorry.
So just for those people like me, how do you get to BitChute, Kirsten?
I'm going to put a link for this video. It's under the same name, Kirsten W, CIRSTENW.
So what do? You just type in www.bitchute?
Yes, www.bitchute, and then Kirsten W's name. But I've been putting links on all my videos, if you watch them, for BitChute every single day. So yeah, I've been putting links on all my videos for BitChute every day. So if you go to yesterday's video, or the most current video on Lisa Page, the slut Lisa Page, then you will get the BitChute. You just click on there and you go on. You have to create an account. That one is kind of like, it's like really old school. They have no censorship, because it's just like an automated machine. And you take your chances. When I upload a video on there, sometimes it goes on, sometimes it doesn't, but there's no like 20 minutes. Can I say the word terrorist? Can I say the word MUSLIM? Can I say the word SHOTING? It's just so hard to rack your brain to find other, words to use. And by that time, you've lost your strain of thought. As you know, everyone knows I have attention deficit, dyslexia, and OCD. When I started to figure out things to use, I lost it.
So first, when I typed in BitChute, it didn't work. I typed in www.bitchute.
You're missing an E. Bitchute.com.
BitChute.com.
.com.
Okay.
And then, of course, it'd be under news and politics, but it'd be so much easier if you just went on to my YouTube video and just clicked on that. So do we have anything else to discuss on here before, you know, hell breaks loose this month? It's weird that hell's breaking loose in the Christmas month. It's so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, if you remember, I think, was it last year, 2017? It was like December 5th, December 5th, December 5th.
Right. And
So,
then, isn't Lisa Page going to be arrested?
I would imagine. So I'm on BitChute now, and it says, do I have to log in?
Yeah, you have to create an account, which
Oh, okay. But
which
I can
is, which
search
means
your name. So I put in CIRSTENW. Okay.
And yeah, that's how you get on there. I've got.
Oh, yeah, I see you there.
Okay, there you go.
Great.
Subscribe. You've got to have a thing. Yeah, it's a double work for me because I have to do that one, which I do first, and then I do YouTube. I like to make YouTube an afterthought, but unfortunately, 90% of my subscribers are still on YouTube, and yeah. Yeah, and if you guys want the Q shirts that I designed, please, I'll put a link to that too. Well, do we have anything else to say? Because, oh, I need to correct you. When you say this morning, yesterday morning, because we're now on to Tuesday. So when you say this morning, you're still on a Monday time. So we're really on Tuesday. So when you say this
yeah,
morning,
we're actually Tuesday morning. I'm sorry.
The
other thing I'm terrible with is keeping time.
It's 4:58 a.m. At Eastern Standard Time here in Florida, and Gene's an hour behind, I assume, yeah?
I'm at 2:58.
Oh, really? 2 hours behind. Okay.
Yeah, 2:58 Mountain Time.
Okay, so that's Central Time, correct? Or is it Mountain?
Yeah, Mountain Time.
Mountain Time. Central Time is only 1 hour between, I guess. So confusing. There's one that's just 1 hour between. Anyway, so yeah, to the people in California, get out. That's all I have to say. Get out whichever way you can. I don't know how to tell you this, but
take vacation for 3 weeks.
Are they trying to even save that state, or are they just
they're trying. I mean, you know, it's a mess. I mean, other than California, the worst place in the country is Colorado, and that's where I am. So it's like, you know,
that's pretty bad. And Trump's like not even. I mean, everyone's coming here to Florida, and Trump's, you know, leaving New York. He's had it. Obviously, he's not gonna take it out because it's so entrenched. So basically, Florida's the place. Hope to meet you in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so, okay, I guess we want to go through the Illuminati families, remember?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I had totally forgot that.
So I'll let you know.
Mention the ones you know, and I'll fill in the gaps.
Okay, so the DuPonts, which that movie is out now, Dark Waters, which they use the stuff with to make Teflon for your cooking, and they to get that, I think it was called C8, that a compound, it linked all these different compounds to a large amounts of fluoride. And
yes, C8, let me stop you for a second. C8 is a mind control compound that makes the mind permeable, as does fluoride, and as does aspartame. Aspartame came from a compound that Hitler used with his development of Mark Ultra to make the mind pliable and easily suggestive.
That's why the cows, when they were charging at the owner, their eyes were like behind the head. Their feet were flung open like they were insane.
Yeah, it's because of that.
Movie is so thing, and all the DuPonts were interested in is making money. And that stupid libtard actor Mark Ruffalo, who I posted on his page, is acting like a conservative, but really he's working for the CIA because he's pushing their propaganda. So I had to post something on his page. But those Teflon pans, which are still in use, I would highly advise you not to use them. Many people have gotten cancer. It's just all kinds of cancer, liver cancer, throat cancer, all kinds of cancer. It's so insane. It's just insane.
C8 also messes up, which is in the Teflon, messes up the genetic code giving cancer. And then the Dows are related directly, and so it's part of the same family to the DuPonts, which, DuPont.
The whom?
The DuPonts.
No, the Dows, did you say?
Yeah, the Dows and the DuPonts are directly related. They're cousins. So that's essentially the same family.
How do you spell Dows?
Like the Dow Jones?
Oh, Dow. Okay, D-O-W. Okay, got it. Okay, so are they part of the Illuminati 13?
Yeah, they're a part of the same family. That's the Dows and the DuPonts are essentially just cousins. So they're like the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and the Rothschilds. That's all one family. They're just cousins.
Yeah, but are they all like listed separately in the 13?
No, they're all listed. The Dows and DuPonts are listed together. One. The Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and Carnegies are listed together.
Oh, I thought the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers were separate on the 13 Illuminati.
No, they're listed together. And then the Plantagenet, which is all part of the Merovingian, includes the Plantagenet and the Payseur.
Okay.
And so the Payseurs are all, from my information, are all dead, as almost all the Rothschilds, except for a few hiding in Antarctica and the few that are under arrest.
And what's happening with the Gettys in California, which are part of the Illuminati too?
Yeah, that's one of the families, and
what's happening to take them?
They're dug in right now and resisting, and of course, under their Getty mansion is a huge another child trafficking thing.
And nuclear, I mean, those children are brought in, and they've been brought in, I've known for a long time, from the Philippines. And their I guess, underground base is nuclear proof, I guess.
Yeah, it has huge, that's why I said they're dug in and they're fortified in there. And that goes under the cemetery that Trump found. They found it, the Alliance went, when Trump went to that cemetery out there near the Getty Mansion, and they found an entrance and tunnels that go under that. That's why he was out there, because it gave them a reason to explore that cemetery and find out the tunnels that go to the Getty. They're trying to find another way into the Getty system.
Just like the other one was in the Veterans Memorial outside in Virginia that connected to DC, correct?
Yes. They love to put stuff in certain areas, like underneath cemeteries and underneath airports.
And do they have like tons and tons of food underneath there so they can survive for a long period of time?
Yeah, food and water and, free energy generators to get power and, to purify water and all of that stuff, and holograms to make it look all pretty.
Anyway, okay, let's keep on going. We have the Li family, which is Chinese. Yep. I would assume it's spelled L-I. I would assume that's connected to my former prime minister. His son has taken over, who seemed to be a pretty good man, but very, I'm sure he's connected to the Li family. And
right, Chinese Communist Party, except for Jinping.
Yeah, that's why Singapore, which is, I hate to say this, which is a state hub. That's why they don't attack it, and life is good there, and it's no crime.
Another child hub, another trafficking hub.
Yeah, it's just very thing. Anyway, so what else we have? We talked about we mentioned.
Got three. We got the Gettys, the Lees, the Dow DuPonts,
and then we have the Rothschilds and
Rothschild, Carnegie, Rockefellers. And we also talked about the Merovingian Payseur Plantagenet.
Okay, that's 7.
That's 5.
That's that's 7.
Oh, that's 5.
Okay, keep going. I guess you can keep going then. The Warburgs,
which are also the part of the Warburgs are the Happs, Happs.
And then the Windsors, which is the British monarchy.
Right. And the Windsors are originally go by the name of the Winslow up until the 1066 with Norman the Conqueror, and they replaced it and changed the name to Windsor to hide who was who. And so that was originally the Winslow, and they're related directly to the Saxe.
Okay. And then any more? We have a few more, right? We have like.
We need, we're at 8. We need 5 more.
Do you have them?
Off the top of my head, let me think here.
You named a lot of
Melons.
The who?
The Melons.
The Melons, okay.
The Sinclairs, like
Okay.
Sinclair Oil.
Okay.
Now we're at 10. Let me think.
I thought the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers were counted separately.
They're counted as part. They're cousins to they're first and second cousins to each other.
Okay.
And the Rothschilds as well. They're part of the Rothschild family.
Which part is Adam Schiff? Which family is that?
That's one, the Schiffs.
Okay.
And that he's related. He's the grandson of Jacob Schiff, who ran the Kuhn and Loeb Bank transfers to Lenin and Trotsky during the communist rebellion in Russia, turning it into communist country into the Soviet Union, as well as the $150 million gold bullion transfer to Hitler.
So how many of these families are Jewish?
When we say Jewish, I want to clarify that and say Zionist.
Zionist. But the bloodline, that bloodline.
All of them.
They are? All of them? Even the Chinese one?
Yep.
That bloodline is Jewish too?
Yep.
Okay. Wow, shocking.
Yep.
That's illuminating. I mean, it's like, wow. Anyway,
Yep.
So do we have one more? Are we
I think we have one more or two more, and I'm trying to think of what it is. So if you go to the Windsors and the Saxe, they're related to Vlad the Impaler.
Saxe means Saks Fifth Avenue, Saxe?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And then Vlad the Impaler is the house of Gotha, the Gothas.
Wow. So they all have Jewish bloodline in them.
Yep. It's all from originally the Scion blood, which is the blood of Cain.
Oh, wow.
Which is
and then when you talk about the Merovingians,
that's the most pure.
Yeah, so they have they're kind of like impervious to like Kuru, you said, or something.
Yes, the big very pure families, which would be first of all the Merovingian, which would include the Pacers, if there's any left. I don't think so. The Rothschilds, the Plantagenets, and the Oranges. So the Oranges currently.
There's another family.
Yeah, they're part of the Merovingian line, and the Oranges are the current royalty of the Netherlands, which own the Maersk shipping line.
So basically, that could be good and bad, because when you say very pure, that means very inbred.
Yeah, very, very, very inbred. So if you go back,
autism.
They all marry each other's sisters and aunts and uncles and have babies all the way around, and everybody has babies with everybody, and that's why you get all those inbred diseases like hemophilia and all that other stuff. Because
what is that? Asperger's.
Yeah, you're narrowing your gene pool, and when you start narrowing it, it's like how we wound up with being the idea that the American Dental of the ADA said is that fluoride stops tooth decay was because in a remote area out in the Smoky Mountains, there was a, kind of like an inbred community where everybody's marrying everybody's cousins, and their like Jeff Foxworthy said, you're a redneck when your family tree doesn't fork, and you've gone to you've married 3 times and you have the same in-laws.
Oh, no. What was I going to say is interesting, because talk about Asperger's, we have that Greta Thunberg, and as I mentioned in my last video, we have climate control under Mr. Climate himself, Leonardo DiCaprio, who funded the fires in the Amazon. And now the president of Brazil is trying to indict him for that. And then, of course, his the Zero something Zero group with John Kerry and also yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's
on the bloodlines. You know, the best source I know of is Fritz Springmeier's book, Bloodlines: The Illuminati. And then there's also two other documents. You can get the Merovingian line, Bloodline of Cain, and then you can get the Pesure.
It says my speaker is not working. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. When you lean back, you kind of you get like some weird kind of thing where I can't hear what
they're screwing with my thing. Anyway, I saw a thing about that Greta Thunberg where she looks exactly like someone like 100 years ago, and they think that they might have taken genes from that person and put it in her to create her.
Yeah, probably cloned her.
Right. Okay, well, I'm going to stop now because they're screwing with my speaker. So, well, Merry Christmas all and a Happy New Year, and let's
Thank you, Kirsten.
Pray for our POTUS and pray for our protection.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just, you know, they always attack you when you're on target, just like when I was on Rick's show the last time. They wiped out my internet.
Oh, God.
And
okay.
my...
Well, at least we got most of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Okay, bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good morning.
Yeah.